There's actually a saying in Arabic, it's فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. The one who does not possess something cannot give it. So when you learn Arabic, you don't only repair that system for yourself, but for your future generations. And there's nothing worse than your kids coming to you and they say to you, what does this word mean? Daddy, what am I reading? But when I was in the UK, I taught 2 of my children how to read. That's how we started, how to read the Qur'an. And within a year, they were speaking Arabic fluently. You see, when you learn Arabic, you're not just learning for yourself, you're learning for your family, you're learning for your kids. You're learning to repair the broken system that's been handed down to us. The system that says, read the Qur'an and not understand it. Make du'as and it just be like you're parroting words that you don't understand. Stand there in Salat al-Taraweeh for an hour and not have a clue what's being recited. So when you learn Arabic, you don't only repair that system for yourself, but for your future generations. For me, that's the biggest way you can build a legacy. And there's nothing worse than your kids coming to you, especially if you're living in the West. They come to you and they say to you, what does this word mean? Daddy, what am I reading? What is this? I don't even understand. Or seeing them rock and read the Qur'an and knowing that they're going to face a lot of fitna and trials and tribulations when they walk out of that door. And they don't even have the book of Allah to really hold on to. When they read, they don't understand. And this is why a lot of children, they start grasping onto music. They start grasping onto things they can understand. Why do they listen to music anyway? Why do they sit there listening to what these singers have got to say? Because they understand the language. And I don't know about you, but myself, I wouldn't want my children to be exposed to these songs and to be exposed and become addicted to listening to these people when we have the greatest book, revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will direct them, that will guide them, that will give them peace and tranquility in their life. That's what we want them to be addicted to. But the reality is, if you haven't paved the way and you're not on that path, it's very hard for you to give that to your kids. There's actually a saying in Arabic, it's فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. The one who does not possess something cannot give it. So when you're the best version of yourself, you're setting an example and you can now help your children to learn Arabic. You can now help them to build a foundation. I'm not saying I'm the best parent or anything like that, but I remember when I was in the UK, I taught 2 of my children how to read. That's how we started, how to read the Qur'an. They were around 4 or 5 at the time. When I took them to Saudi Arabia, they could already pronounce the letters, which is a major start, and pronounce them correctly, right? Then I literally threw them into nursery, Arabic-only environment. They will come back and they will learn certain words and certain verbs. You know what I used to do? I used to make them do the conjugation. I used to, for example, even though it was in the dialect, they'll say like, ruht, which means I went. I'll say, okay. I'll say, Taymiyyah, how do you say we went? I'll say, ruhna. You see, you just add that little na after it. Say, ruhna, we went. Then I'll say, okay, how do I say they went? I'll say, rahu. How do I say he went? Rah. How do I say she went? Rahat. You see that little hat at the end, the little ta? That means she went, and I'll drill it with them. I'll literally play games with them. I'll play games with pronouns, how to say like they, we, I. I'll say ana. So they'll learn ana. They'll just learn ana randomly, ana. Then I'll say, okay, how do I say he? I say huwa. How do I say she? Hiya. And I'll drill it and I'll play little games with them. How was I able to do that? Because I learned the Arabic language. So I was able to fast track their journey. And I was able to reduce that anxiety and that overwhelming feeling of, being in a country or being in a nursery where everyone's speaking another language you don't understand. And I'm telling you, within 2 to 3 months, without exaggeration, within 2 to 3 months, they were putting sentences together. And within a year, they were speaking Arabic fluently. Again, I'm not saying that to say I'm an amazing father or anything like that. I'm just saying that the fact that I learned Arabic, I was able to do that for my children. The fact when they'll read ayat, I can tell them, oh, this word means this. What does this mean? I can test them, which overall it just creates a better Islamic education for your children. And now when you give that to your children, what happens after that? Your children can give it to their children and their children can give it to their children. Now you've got this ajr that's just going on even after you die. Why? Because you built a legacy. And I really believe for a man especially, you need to be thinking about that sadaqah jariyah after you die. What's going on? Where do you want to be? What are you passing down to your children? Are you going to keep that chain of ignorance just going where, okay, we just read, but we don't understand. We pray and we don't understand. Or do you want to break down and build something bigger? So I just wanted to share that with my brothers that especially my brothers, even sisters, like, for the sisters is even more so because most of the time they're around the children. Break that cycle of ignorance. Find some way to learn Arabic. If you need our help, we've got open arms. I've gone from A to Z. I was a revert, never knew Arabic. I built the perfect system for you to get started no matter where you are in the world. Get started with us today. Links in the bio if you're interested. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum.